9/11, a security guard trying to help a teen killed on the job.
My brother was talking to him, and then my brother sat down next to him on the bench. I was just talking to him like this.
We hear from his brother and show you how a community is remembering him tonight.
From KPIX, this is the Late News with Sarah Donchi on CBS News Bay Area.
Hello and good evening. I'm Sarah Donchi. People in San Francisco's Japantown are remembering the life of Gavin Boston tonight. He was killed earlier this month while working as a security guard. Now, police say this is what was happening. He was just talking to a 15-year-old boy for a couple of minutes before that teenager opened fire. Betty Yu is in San Francisco, where she talked to Gavin's family, who is still devastated.
The community came together to honor and celebrate the life of Gavin Boston, the security guard who was gunned down just 2 months after taking the job in a neighborhood he loved. People who knew Gavin Boston and those just touched by his story left origami cranes, a symbol of hope and healing, in memory of the 40-year-old security guard. He was shot in the head as he was escorting a teen out of the Japan Center Mall earlier this month. A 15-year-old was arrested for murder. A 14-year-old was arrested for being an accessory.
Hello, I'm a mess.
Gavin's brother, John Boston, struggled to hold back tears as he described his pain. Reverend Amos Brown, head of the San Francisco NAACP, walked up to give him support. John said he watched the surveillance video, which showed Gavin speaking to the teen for 7 minutes.
He was actually knelt down in front of him, was talking to him, and the kid was sitting on the bench. I don't know if he was sleeping, but he was bent way over, and my brother was talking to him. And then my brother sat down next to him on the bench. I was just talking to him like this. And then after a while, you know, because they didn't want him sleeping on the bench, I think some of the business owners, my brother's just doing his job.
Gavin was described by loved ones as a writer who loved Japanese culture. He was a peaceful person, and he moved to San Francisco after taking care of his mom, who suffers from dementia in the Central Valley.
He believed that he could talk to people, and I think he believed that day he was going to talk to that kid and just calmly and respectfully talk to him. Because that was his strategy, was to be calm and respectful, and it didn't work.
John said his brother didn't express any concerns about crime when he took the job. In fact, he was excited, but John had his concerns.
Because San Francisco crime in general seems to have been going up.
His sister said her brother wouldn't have wanted his killer to be locked up.
He would want for this young man to get every help that he needs to be a productive member of society.
On Tuesday, community and religious leaders and members of the San Francisco Police Department paid their respects to the family.
And he liked his job. He enjoyed Japantown. So to him, it was a good situation.